Area 88, or UN Squadron as it's known in the West, is a 1989 side-scrolling shoot-'em-up by Capcom, which was originally released on the CPS arcade hardware. The game is based upon an anime of the same name, Area 88. While the game itself is a typical side-scrolling shooter, going against the trend of other Capcom shooters such as 1942 and 1943, which were vertical shooters. However, like other Capcom shooters, the player has an energy bar that is consumed over the course of a single life, as the player sustains damage. Before the game starts, the player can choose between 3 mercenary pilots: Shin Kamaza, Mickey Simmons or Simon, and Greg Gates. Each pilot flies a Pacific plane and has different capabilities. At first I was kinda surprised that US Gold actually had made the effort to include the arcade's introduction. This really gave me hope that the game would turn out to be pretty good, but my hopes were soon short-lived. The graphics are horrible. They look like they've been done in Microsoft Paint at times. The colour clashes badly in some areas, making it difficult to see the enemy projectiles. Then there's the jerky scrolling, which sure doesn't help with the precise movement needed for the shoot 'em up like this. I'm being completely honest when I say this isn't a very good port at all. Having similar Microsoft Paint style graphics but not as bad as the Amiga, comes this ST port. Actually, this version isn't too bad. The colours can sometimes cause problems with blending, but at least it moves at a decent speed and handles fairly well. As far as 16-bit computer ports go, the ST wins hands down. Wow, even the Amstrad CPC keeps the arcade presentation, and to top it off, the graphics are pretty well done. Unfortunately, like many Amstrad CPC games, this one runs at a snail's pace, making it extremely boring to play. Seriously, the levels drag on forever. It's such a shame. If this ran just a little faster, it would have been an excellent game for the system. Sadly, it's another dud. Probably having the best rendition of the Area 88 theme comes the C64 port. Unfortunately, the music doesn't continue when you're actually playing the game. What a shame. And the bad points don't end there. The game doesn't even look that good. And the way it plays, well, let's just say it doesn't really play like the arcade machine. The enemies seem to take way too many hits to die, and the patterns which they use and the way the projectiles come out is just not the same as the arcade machine. In fact, you could probably just reskin this and you'd have no idea it was meant to be Area 88 or UN Squadron, whichever one you want to call it. Unfortunately for ZX Spectrum owners, they get a game where it is pretty difficult to see what's going to hit you. Yes, that's right. Due to the monochrome graphics, a lot of the enemy projectiles seem to blend in with the background, making it pretty impossible to see what's hitting you at times. And then there's the way the game plays. While the actual pace of the game is not that bad, the controls are very sluggish, or should I say, the way your ship moves is very slow. If your main craft moved a little bit faster, the game would have been a hell of a lot more fun to play, and in fact, I would have said it'd be pretty decent, apart from not being able to see some of the enemy projectiles at times. Unlike all the home computer ports, The Super Famicom version was actually made by Capcom, and what they've done is taken the original arcade game and enhanced it to make it more appealing to the home audience. You've got all the same levels as the arcade machine and the graphics look very good. There is a bit of slowdown here and there, but you know, it can't be helped, it's running on a Super Famicom. One of the main gameplay changes in this version is when you get hit, instead of just taking off a small amount of energy like you see in the other home ports, you actually lose all your energy, and you'll notice that the energy bar flashes with the danger sign on it. If you happen to get hit within the 5 seconds that's flashing, it's game over. Yep, one hit death. But if you manage to avoid getting hit, then your energy refills. Not all the way to the top mind you, but it refills some. Another key change in the game is a strategic one. Basically, when you select your missions, you have to select them in time to avoid the enemy reaching the mother base, unlike other versions where you just play one stage after another. All in all, the Super Famicom version of UN Squadron, or Area 88, is probably the best home version out there and definitely worth picking up if you've never played it before.